Hello, Emma. Delighted to be having a second chat with you. Myself and Steve Evans here.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, yeah, good, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me back again to chat about all things Pink Club.
Good.
Excellent. But before we get to that, how's the Costa del Sol? Cold, chilly, -5 yet?
It's really, really cold actually. And people that have lived here 20 odd years have said they've never known it this cold. And we had a really weird storm the other night, and it got me thinking about, if there are any writers out there that have some weird weather event, I can categorically state factually that you can have thunder and lightning with torrential rain followed by hailstones the size of golf balls followed by snow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Canada in the 80s. That was a bit like that, but this is Spain, of course.
Yeah, you think it's warm, don't you?
Yeah. Speaking of weather, and then what about the house sale? Is that still going ahead, or are you made any progress on that yet? Because I know you're looking to sell, or your in-laws are. Is it your in-laws you live with? You and Matt?
No, it's my mum and dad. So it's Matt's
sorry,
in-laws.
wrong way around.
Bless him. Poor sod.
Poor Matt.
No, my parents are lovely, actually. So he's actually very lucky, actually. I should say he's very lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a problem with you for starters, hasn't he? So.
Yeah. Oof, yeah. 13 years of marriage this year. I can't believe it's just gone really quickly. But we got married in October, but we met in the May of the same year we got married. So it'll be 13 years we've been together on the 1st of May, which is quite romantic, I think.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So any news
Sorry,
on
Steve, I forgot your question. Oh, yeah, the
house sale, or you're still moving, not moving, or
still moving? And we had a viewing today, actually. It was a very positive one. So the guy went to see just one other property, and he was already talking about things that he could see that he would do with the property. And then we've got another viewing next week. So all of a sudden we've just got this flurry of activity. So I'm crossing everything that, we get us somebody to purchase the house very soon. Because it is beautiful, and if we didn't have to move because of the size of the family, we would actually say.
Oh, good luck with that.
So where are you locating to? Are you coming back to the UK, or are you going somewhere else in for Matt's job or whatever?
So we're going to stay in the area because of the school and everything, and we really love the area. I mean, the area of Mijas and Fuengirola, which is where we are, it's just so beautiful. And Fuengirola is right on the coast. And where we are in Mijas, it's sort of about a 10-minute drive, sort of more mountainous terrain. But yeah, it's so lovely. And I've been coming here with my parents since I was 9 years old, so it's literally like a home away from home. So yeah, we love it, and I'm so glad our children are all getting to grow up and experience Spain. And it's the first actual country out of the UK that Matt's ever visited. So
wow.
Yeah, he's doing very well. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
We know you've been working with our Twitter friend Tasha Brown, paranormal fiction writer, and between you both, you've connected us with some great guests: Sue Ann Braun, Stacey Jackson, artist Cheetah, who we're going to be talking to in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, it's fantastic how we're all just connecting, and all these doorways are opening now, which is amazing. And I don't know whether that's because of the creative process through writing, because I know we're going to chat about that in a minute. But the Pink Club journey, especially, this has been 7 years in the making. So when I conclude the series this year, it will have taken 7 years for my first book series to be completed, and I find like I've got a routine now with my writing, which helps me to write faster and more effectively, and in a shorter, condensed space of time. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's been enjoyable. And I think with anything where you go into a field of creativity where not necessarily you've done courses or exams on it, I've kind of had to learn as I go along. I went into this knowing nothing about what it took to write a book, and then I've learned obviously that it takes a village to get it completed and freshened up, ready to publish it and things.
Okay. Before we go on to talk about Pink Club and Darla, just remind us a little bit about your hobbies and what you're working on with the coach neuro-linguistic programming, and how's your little desk, by the way, your little working area, and how did that come about? Because you've been used in other areas, and all of a sudden you've got this desk that apparently was just full of books and rubbish before, and now all of a sudden it's fine to write on. So why haven't you been using it all along?
I know that is the question, isn't it? Like, I think it's something that we all suffer with, isn't it? Like, you can have an area of your house that's just cluttered with stuff, and you can't become blind to it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was just like, I literally just thought, I've had enough of this now. So I took all the washing and all of George's clothes that are far too small for him now, and I bagged them up because we're going to give them away. And I just took all the junk, and I said to Matt, right, it's his junk, to be fair. So I was like, you can now sort that out because I'm going to adopt this desk space. You don't use it, so I'm adopting it, And I've overtaken his drawers as well. So he was not a happy bunny. He was like, you can't use my drawers. And I said, but you don't use them. And then he did say it was a fair point, to be fair to him. And so he's begrudgingly donated the drawers to me now. So I feel, I don't know, maybe that's helping with my writing process, but it's like my little space now. So I can sort of just tune in better when I'm writing. Because most of the time I'm writing at the dining room table with headphones on, with like screaming children running around, and then my mum's trying to speak to me, and I'm in the middle of writing, and I'm like, sorry. I'll pull my headphone away, and I'll be like, yes, no, okay, okay, I'm just writing, yes, okay, yeah, okay. And it's just constant interruption. It's amazing how I've managed to get any books finished, really. So to think that I can sit quietly now, and I could just tune in, I could just take an hour and just write uninterrupted. It's just heaven. I wish I'd done it sooner, to be honest. But yeah, I guess things happen at the right time, they say, don't they? Like something will happen, and then you change something, and then it allows other energies to flow.
So going through, you've got your dedicated writing area now. So when you do get out and about to do a few hobbies, what you're up to then with hobbies and other things like your coaching? I don't think I've heard you mention coaching for a while, actually.
Yeah, I kind of got to a fork in the road, and I realized that with my coaching, I was like, I can't really throw all my energies into both. I've got to choose now. Like, do I fixate on my writing or my coaching, or just moonlight as a coach and fixate on my writing? So I chose my writing, but I'm still doing my studying. I'm still avidly studying for my qualifications, other things I'm doing. And I do a lot more art therapy based stuff as well. So, if I have a quiet 5 minutes and I'm not writing, I might just sketch and, do like a pencil pen doodling exercise, which is like really simple to do. But when you finish it, it looks like a really intricate piece of artwork.
Excellent.
So the process, actually, sorry, I couldn't remember what the process is called. It's called Zen Tangles. So if you go on Google and you put in Zen Tangles, it's just literally, you just do a 9x9 square, and you just draw like with a pencil, you just draw a continuous like rope, I suppose you could say, like just follow the pencil around, and then fill in the gaps with like really simple shapes like crosses or triangles or circles, and you keep going with your black biro, and then afterwards you step back and it just blows my mind. Like, it's so simple, but it just looks really, really artistic. And those are kind of things like how art therapy works, kind of focus the mind and let everything to calm down if you're having a really busy, stressful day. And school mums and dads, if they're waiting to pick up their kids from school, can have a notepad and just like do a Zen tangle or a doodle, to kind of like chill out for a bit before they pick up the children and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty just a little quirky thing I thought I'd share there.
Okay.
No, fair enough. It's interesting. Yeah, it's something to draw back from your writing and just relax and take your mind off things. So yeah, fair enough.
The last time we chatted, you just released the first edition of Darla Adventures in the Pink Club. You've got 3 books out there in a remarkably short period of time between October and January this year. You're writing all day and night.
Actually, no. But the thing that's changed, I think, is the people that I have around me. So I have a really good team around me now, and I've got 3 specific women. One of them is an international bestseller, who I believe I've told you guys about, Delta James.
Oh yeah.
Who's up to release her 100th book at the end of this year, and she's only been a published author for 5 years. So I'm just like, does she like not breathe between writing? We have a little giggle about it. And her really good friend, proofreader and beta reader, She has been toing and froing with me, and we kind of chat every now and again as well. And then Renee is my formatter, so she basically pimps up my books to make them look the way that they do on Kindle, or on paperback. So she does such a beautiful job
The covers are
of
brilliant.
everything. That's by Mary Louise O'Neill.
Okay.
And she's the only cover artist I've had throughout the whole process. She's just brilliant, and it just blows my mind the creative process we have on a Zoom call. Like, so I'll have an idea in my head of what I want the cover to look like, and how close she gets to what I have in my head is insane. She just has the knack for it, and I mean she should, because I mean she's been doing it for like over 16 years. So I am.
There's 3 books out there now. You said, I think, that you plan on completing these at the end of the year. How many have you got planned for the series?
So there's 4 books planned. So believe it or not, I'm actually over halfway with book 4 already, and I've only just released book 3. And so I've up to 36 chapters, and I usually hit the 58 mark. I'm, you know, the thing is, as long as you're getting about 58 or 60 chapters in, it's a good sort of sizable book to read. And yeah, I was working out the timeline in my head, so it took me like 5.5 years to write the first book, because I knew nothing, and there was a lot of learning curves, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I trusted the wrong people, that sort of thing. And then with the second book, it took me 1.5 years. Pink Passions, actually, I think literally took me about 3 months to complete.
Wow.
And then this one is literally, I mean, it's just happening. It's just, I don't know whether it's because it's the last book, so it's like the concluding part of the story, so it's like the easiest part, I think, to write.
But your skills in the craft of writing will have vastly improved book on book. You know, it's the same with anything, isn't it? The more you go at it, you know, the more expert you become. Yeah.
And also having a really good proofreader as well. She reflects back to me. She's like, okay, so my habits were that I was overusing the word now. And it was a quirky thing I was doing. It was like I was I was joining 2 words into one. And she was like, you do know that this word is a separate thing. So now when I'm writing like book 4, I'll write it and I'm like, oh no, separate the words. And every time I write the word now in a sentence, I reread it and I'm like, does that need to be in there? Like, okay, right, take that out. Because in my head, you're hearing the story and seeing it as you're writing it. So that's where you really need a really good proofreader, because they can pick up the things that you do on a regular basis. So like you said, that just enhances your writing skill as you go up and up.
Tell us a little bit about, or recap for us anyway, a little bit about the gender or the genre, and, you know, obviously don't give any spoilers away. What about the books are about?
So basically the story is about, it follows the underdog story of Darla Pebble, who has big dreams and aspirations to be a professional dancer, and then because of a cruel twist of fate in her teenage years, you know, that was just taken away from her. So, you know, she finds herself in like 2 jobs, struggling to make ends meet, and she lives with her mum, who suffers with sort of mental health disorders, and you know, she's doing this balancing act of always checking in with her mum, and she's almost like the mother to her mother, because her mum's quite scatty-brained and a bit of a wreck in the beginning of the story when you meet her. So her plate is overloading with stuff, and then she has this like incident at work that happens, and from there it kind of, her life takes on this really exotic turn, and she finds herself in a position, with the help of her friend Dante, who's a dance teacher that she befriended after what happened to her in her teenage years, that, you know, she could get another chance at having her dreams realized to be a professional dancer. But it's always this kind of like, almost like tap dance with herself on fear and hurdles and having to overcome them, and all this self-doubt, and it kind of gives that feel of like, feel the fear and do it anyway. And like all the good things that can come when you know, you take yourself out of your comfort zone. And I think maybe on a more subconscious level, I might have weaved in some sort of life coaching philosophy through the story, through Darla's character. because I'd hope to reflect to the readers that it's that old chestnut of like, you have to do things to make things happen in life. And people get so hung up on failure, and I believe that the failure is in not attempting something in the first place, because whether you win, lose, or draw, you at least tried to do something, so that in there is no failure. So that it's just like, that vibe of like, don't give up, always aspire to live your dreams. It doesn't come down to the money in the bank account or your living situation, or at least it shouldn't. If you have passion, drive, and enthusiasm, all these doors might shut in your face, but there will be that one door that opens, and then from there, like other doors will start to open, and things can start to happen. But you've got to be able to take that first step.
Being positive, I believe in the power of positive drinking.
Positive drinking.
Oh, Terry, that's awful.
Oh no, sorry. Have you got plans? Once the series is complete, and moving on to a different genre, maybe a collaboration with Tasha on a paranormal fiction?
Yes. So Tasha and I actually already are collaborating with this amazing story, which obviously I can't mention anything at the moment. And it's been really lovely, because we've had a few sit-down chats, actually video chats, and Tasha's writing it, but we kind of mash our ideas around, and we've got two firm protagonists that we've expressed ourselves. So she's got her protagonist and I've got mine, and we've joined them together, and now we've put them in this situation, and it's all about like navigating this journey forward, and I'm really excited about it, and I know that she is, and there's quite a lot that's been done on it already. And then alongside that one, I'm also doing another collaboration, which is a sort of vampire-esque story. So to give you the gist of this story, which I can do, it's a vampire who is like a natural born vampire. She gets turned into a human as punishment for accidentally blowing up a 1,000-year-old genie.
That sounds great.
So the idea was originally mine, and I thought to myself, I don't think I've got time to write this alongside doing Pink Club, because it's just taking up so much of my time. So I sought out a ghostwriter who basically didn't do any of the writing on it for like a good 6 months, and I said to her, okay, don't worry about it, can you just give me a refund? I'm going to write it myself, which I'm doing now.
Okay.
And then I invited a friend on board who reads a lot of books. I think January, she said she's just got her reports back, and she's read 26 books in January. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Wow,
that's mad.
26
speed reader
books. I'm like, definitely. And her bread and butter is paranormal, like vampires, witches, dragons. What she doesn't know about this thing isn't worth knowing about. So I did. I said to her, do you want to collaborate with me on this story? And I told her the story I did. She's like, oh my God, I love it. So I'm writing it, and we chat about it. And so once I finish Pink Club book 4, that's when we were going to really sit down and go full forward with that. And we're hoping to release that Halloween this year. So it'll probably be finished quite a while before Halloween, but that's our release date, like for Halloween this year. So I can't wait to like release that one, because it's such a stark contrast from Pink Club to
I love the sound of it. Sounds like a great premise.
Thank
you. Just diversifying from books a little bit, I just remembered when we first spoke last time, I think you were quite new to Twitter then. You didn't have many followers, and I know you were trying to get that out there, and you were going to get out and put more stuff on Twitter, which you've done. Has it helped you though, do you find? Have you generated more followers? And
so the followers that I have, actually, they're really, like, I would say, like, they're quality followers. You get the occasional strange person that tries to follow you. I think that's just part of the algorithm system of any social media these days.
Normal,
so I'm always like keeping my eye out on those, and I really like the platform. Actually, I've had a really positive experience with it, and touch wood, no trolling. But I mean, even if I did, I'd just be like, you just block them, and you just move on from it. And also Instagram, I've tried to use more as well now. But that's the other side of being self-published, is that you are doing like most of your marketing yourself. So I would look to the future to look to hiring somebody within my budget who can help with sort of like the social media marketing and stuff. And to be fair, Renee, the lady that does my formatting, she is a PA to a different genre, but she helps me out because I'm friends with Delta, bless her. And she gives me like opportunities to put Pink Club on a 1-day book sale for free, so that it introduces more people to Pink Club, and then maybe encourage them to want to pick up the series. And I mean, she's read the books and she absolutely loves them. And always getting that reassurance and that positive feedback helps a lot, because then it's a more comfortable space to write in, I think, especially as you go forward with any series. So yeah, I'm excited to keep this journey going with my writing and see where it goes.
And your royalties have gone up drastically, haven't they?
Oh, don't talk to me about royalties. You do not become a writer to make money. I have discovered this. I have.
Yeah, we've heard that one so many times.
Yep.
Seriously, you've got to be I think you have to be slightly insane to be a writer. I do, because it's just really, this is my passion actually, and I do class it as like my line of work. And I think as you go up and you write more books, maybe the opportunities will become more, and more people will have more choice to look at what books you write and stuff. And for me, it's like it's as broad as it's long right now. And I think sometimes you can get so hung up on this idea of like, you're going to write a bestseller and then you're just going to, it's all just going to land on a silver platter for you. I mean, how J.K. Rowling managed it before social media and everything, goodness knows, because
but she was rejected so many times as well. She was rejected, and same with all the big writers. It's luck, isn't it? A lot of it's luck.
I think. Yeah, because I mean, I've realised that publishing houses can get very, very nitpicky with things, and with the self-publishing, you have more control. So I've got control over the book covers, any adjustments I make, the release date. Whereas a friend of mine who's an author just released her second book in a series, and she said, I wanted it released on this date, but the publishing house have dragged their feet, and they publish it when they want to publish it. And she's lost all that control. And I thought, I'd have to have a very good contract with a publisher, I think, to go down that route.
We're going to ask you that, whether, as the success builds, would you be happy to connect with a traditional publisher, or would you prefer having more control? Because we have writers saying that from acceptance, it could be like a year before the actual book's out there in print. Whereas self-publishing, you can have it up within 3 days.
Yeah, and it's so easy being self-published, because I mean, you have all the control. So as long as your book's formatted correctly, the cover fits, the dimensions fit and everything, and Amazon obviously read the book to make sure it's a legit book before it goes to publishing. They say about 72 hours it takes to upload a book to your Amazon account till it goes live. But in my experience, it's been done within like a day. And if there are like grammatical errors that suddenly get picked up, you can just briefly unpublish it. You can make those corrections, and then you publish it. You wait for Amazon to give it the green light, and then it's up again. And so you just have more control. But I haven't yet had an experience with a publishing house, so I would just say, I already know that I get 70% of royalties from Amazon. And, I would have to have a look at contracts and stuff, but I'm not completely put off by going with a publishing house. And Renee said, once you finish Pink Club, the series, then you can do, I think she called it like branching out, where you could take it off Amazon and you could look at putting it into like Apple Books or Google Play, looking at other avenues to get it into bookshops, because she's got experience in the field, as has Delta, of being with a publishing house and self-published. I think Delta's actually just gone from a publisher to being self-published, and she actually quite enjoys that journey. But she is an international best-selling author, so I think that carried her in good stead from going to publisher to being self-published, because she already had mass following, and her fan base is huge. So I feel very honored to be connected to her on a more intimate basis. And we talk pretty much every day, and I'm in this select group. I was invited to be in a group of readers with her, where we get to read her books, either ones that she's freshened up or ones that she's just going to publish and she wants to get reader feedback. So that was quite a big honor for me, actually. I was like, oh my God, I'm like in this group of readers, and there's only about 12 of us in there, and I was just like, wow, that was mind-blowing. It really was. And that literally came from me just saying thank you to Delta for like giving away so many of her free books and stuff, because she was doing a promotional drive, like I think the one I mentioned, where you can attach your book to like loads of authors giving away free books for a day. And I did. I just said thank you to her, and then we got talking. I think it was via Facebook, and that's when problems were noticed with Pink Club. And I actually fired my editor over certain things. And I did try to make it amicable, but unfortunately, sometimes I think it's just not possible. So, we parted ways, sadly. And Renee took up looking after Pink Club and Dreams in Pink, because I hadn't published Pink Passions at that point. And when I saw the refreshed versions of my books and how they looked on Kindle, like, I was quite emotional, and I could have cried because they just looked amazing. And I was like, oh my God, that's like literally how I felt they always should have looked. So that was a learning curve as well. But I just feel like now I have the team of people around me that I absolutely trust, and they really know what they're doing. And of course, Renee and Chris, who helped Delta, she's an international best-selling author, and she's got nearly 100 books under her belt. So I don't think what she doesn't know about the world of writing isn't worth knowing about. So
you're in a good place there.
It's a privilege and an honor to be connected. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Emma, it is a minefield, isn't it, for authors, and publishers can be picky. There's that many different methods out there. It's difficult. Do you publish with independently, or do you go with a publishing house? I mean, we've spoke to authors. There's one the other day who's selling lots of books per month. He really is. He doesn't know why. It's just happening. And then, it was Moz actually, And then other people who just, it's one every now and again. They just don't understand it. And there's just no algorithm, is there, that says what goes well and what doesn't. It's a real strange one. Anyway, just moving on. As Terry said, time is almost up. At the risk of being sexist, if you like, Pink Club appears to be aimed at a female target audience. Would you say that was right? You've targeted women there, or have you had any positive feedback from males?
Well, yeah, I've actually there's a guy, author friend of mine who writes horror, and he's never read a romance book, because there's a lot going on in Pink Club. It's not just a romance story. And he really, really liked it. And Darla's in the minority in the group of dancers in Pink Club. She's like the only woman around her dance team, and it's a very diverse group. There's support of the LGBT community in there, male dancers being group to just like Darla by herself. So I think men and female, maybe dancers especially, might both enjoy it. So I would hope that people wouldn't just look at the word pink and immediately think like, oh, it's just for women. Because there've been a couple of guys actually who have read it, and they've actually said they actually really did enjoy it. So I didn't realize that I would get that from the male perspective, if that makes sense.
Great answer. Final question from me. What advice would you give to a new writer, Emma? Someone just starting off?
Try not to get too bogged down about what everybody else will think about your book. Write the story that you want to write. Complete it. Do your first rough draft, and then start to look at getting yourself a really good beta reader and proofreader. Because if you can get a really good proofreader, they're worth their weight in gold. And then you can look at, getting an editor and your book cover sorted and everything. But you need those trusted readers who can give you that honest feedback, and just don't get too in your head about it and think about too much about what everyone else is going to think of it. Just write your story, get yourself your readers to give it a test drive, and then, go with that feedback when you get it. Spot on.
Brilliant. Yeah, excellent. Once again, lovely to chat to you, Emma, and it's been good to catch up. I forgot how good those covers are on the books. I think they're brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been delightful chatting with you again, and let's keep in touch as we have been.
And you.
And for our third chat for this this vampire novel.
Yeah, somehow I don't think we won't be losing touch. You're always on social media these days, aren't you?
Yeah. But for now, Emma, thanks again, and you take care.
Thank you very much for having me on the chat again. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.